Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting to order. We have the Thursday, August 8th Board of Directors regular meeting for the Sacramento Metropolitan Fire District. Director Shees, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Director. All right, we have our Metro Cable announcement. Open session meeting is videotaped for cablecast on Metro Cable 14. Replay on Monday, August 12th at 6 p.m. and Tuesday, August 13th at 9 a.m. on Channel 14. Webcast at www.sacmetrocable.tv. The open session meetings are also available for viewing on the district website at www.metrofire.ca.gov. We now come to the public opportunity to discuss matters of public interest within the district jurisdiction, including items on or not on the agenda. Madam Clerk, do we have any speaker cards?
There are no speakers this evening.
Okay, thank you. Moving to consent.
I'll move the consent calendar.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Director Sailors.
Aye.
Gould.
Aye.
Orzali.
Aye.
Sheets.
Aye.
Wood.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
And Jones.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, we have one action item tonight, purchase approval for 3 Pierce Type 1 engines. We have Fleet Manager, Mr. Purcell, welcome to the podium.
President Jones, Board of Directors, Chiefs Arms, Shea Purcell, Fleet Manager again. I'm here again this evening to ask for your approval to purchase 3 more Type 1 fire engines. These are going to be the same spec as the last 2 that we purchased, which we have not yet received. But we had full confidence in the first building of the specs. We have full confidence in these 3 as well. This purchase will again be made through the HGAC Purchasing Cooperative. The cost for these 3 vehicles will be $2,094,127. The funds are included in the 1920 final budget, and staff recommends that you approve the purchase of these 3 apparatus.
All right, thank you very much. Are there any questions for Mr. Purcell? Sir?
Thanks, Grant.
How are you?
I'm good.
How's this organization doing on meeting our needs as far as turning these things back to us so that we can keep our frontline engines fresh? How are they doing?
Exceptional. In fact, the 2 that we were getting were supposed to arrive in December, and now they're coming in October. So they've heavily accelerated the plan.
Wow,
Yeah.
good. Okay, thank you.
So real good.
All right, satisfactory. Are there any other questions or comments?
I'll move staff's recommendation, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And it's first and seconded by Director Clark, correct?
Yes,
Okay,
that's what I
please
have.
call the roll.
Director Sailors.
Aye.
Gould.
Aye.
Orzali.
Aye.
Sheets. Aye. Wood.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
And Jones.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay, thank you very much. We're going to move on to reports. For the President's report, I would like to comment on our consent item number 2 about the employer's contribution under Public Employees Medical and Hospital Care Act. These are commitments that are critical to the well-being of our district, and I stand behind all these commitments. It's also very important that we recognize the costs of these commitments. After talking with staff earlier this week, the CalPERS has consolidated districts. There used to be 3 in our area. There used to be the Bay Area, Sacramento, and Northern California. They have consolidated all of us for the 2020 year coming up into one Bay Area region for the purposes of assessment. The estimate is this will increase our costs $1.5 million on an annual basis going forward, in addition to what we are now paying. This is a critical commitment, and I stand by this commitment. It's important that all of us realize the cost, the financial obligation that fulfilling these commitments make. So again, I totally support the consent item, and just wanted to draw it to everyone's attention what these commitments really do mean. across the board. And I'd like to thank Amanda Thomas for helping me out with the numbers. Thank you, ma'am. All right, that concludes my report. Fire Chief's report.
Good evening, President and Directors. First, I'd just like to comment on Shay's presentation and how good it was tonight. I know he loves coming up and doing those things. But the one thing that I will want to comment is that Shay and Chief Shannon about 2 years ago came and wanted to lay out a plan for managing apparatus and the replacement of apparatus and putting us on a schedule, something that we can look at that sets us up for today, but also sets us up for tomorrow. So for me sitting here watching and him coming up and saying, hey, we're going to replace these 3 engines, it really puts us in a place so that we're not trying to buy 20 at once, or that we get to a place that we don't have enough and we're browning out companies. We're putting a type 1 into a type 3. So as much fun as I have with them, they're doing a phenomenal job of setting us up for apparatus and equipment and taking it and spreading it out so that there's no one time we have to buy everything at once. So thanks, Shay. Just a few things going on. We have an open enrollment or an open recruitment going on right now for firefighter paramedic. We had a labor management meeting on the 31st at the Union Hall, in which the group, missed it, but the group sat down and talked about a number of issues that are happening across the district. I attended or did a phone conference on a national USAR committee that is looking at bringing state and federal resources together and working more, seamlessly across the United States. Today, we had a meeting with the Citrus Heights 2x2. Director Gould and Director Orzali was there. I think compared to where we started at and to where we were today, I think it was probably one of the better meetings that we've had as far as being able to discuss where we're at, what's going on, what are some of our challenges, and being able to have kind of a clear path moving forward. A lot of it focused on CCRD, code, the fire code. On Wednesday, they did a planned vegetation management burn over here in Mather. On Friday, there'll be another one up at Dry Creek Parkway in Rio Linda. The National Night Out was Tuesday. I want to thank our companies and just a number of folks that were out and about for that national event. Two last things is we also had a review of the Cap to Cap 2019. Jeff has spent quite a bit of time of looking over the last 2 years and then really looking as an organization as we move forward, what do we look at as far as our federal obligations, state obligations, and then local, and then putting together a plan that includes cap to cap for us moving forward. The last thing I just want to comment is just this past week or past week and a half, we've had a member who had a very difficult diagnosis. And watching folks pull together to support that member, from his friends, folks within the district, making sure that we help them and support them in navigating the medical system, navigating the process, helping and supporting the family. I just think it's so important. We do a lot of things and buy apparatus, but there isn't anything more important is how do we take care of the membership. And it's very easy to do that when things are going well, but the important side is how do you do that when things are going bad. That ends my report unless you have any questions.
Any questions for the chief? All right, thank you, sir. Moving on to operations report. Welcome to the podium.
Good evening, President Jones, Board of Directors, Chief Harms. My name is Adam Mitchell. I'm the newest Assistant Chief, C-Shift Commander. Took Chief Neville's place when he retired in his well-deserved retirement, so I'm happy to be here tonight for Chief Bridge giving you the operations report. Since our last report, we've had 3,869 total calls. That averages to just over about 276 calls for service a day, so it's been very busy. As far as busiest units, I've added this in this time. The busiest transporting medic unit that we have is in Division 7 this week. or this 2 weeks, Medic 24 with 215 responses. That's 15 and a third calls a day. It's hard to run a third of a call, but they're figuring it out somehow. So they're the busiest medic unit. For the busiest engine company, we're going with Division 4, Engine 53 with 186 responses, and so they're running 13.29 calls a day. So combined, we almost got that full call on the end of that. But point being, they've been very busy. And in light of some of our members moving into the fire academy and staffing, on the 2nd of August, we upstaffed an additional fire department medic unit for the short term to help assist with transport capabilities. And that unit has been in service. And as an example, because of that unit being in service, they ran, as of yesterday, they ran 12 calls, and that's been a pretty average number for those folks to be running every day. And so we're doing what we can to bridge the gap between waiting for our new SRP members to hit the line and get those units back in service so we can continue to provide the transport. I've got 3 incidents that I'll brief you on here. The first one, 2 of them are related. On August 2nd, we had a vehicle accident rollover out on Prairie City Road and White Rock Road. Initially came in as a rollover incident, power lines involved. The vehicle actually did roll over, took out one of the power poles. The power lines came down, and as a result started a vegetation fire. And so we had a very complex incident right out of the gate that was growing. So en route, the call was balanced to a grass fire, and also due to the location that's near the SRA boundary, so our partners at CAL FIRE also started a response, and so we had a lot of units come into that. We worked very well together. We set up a unified command, and we worked well with one of their actually battalion chiefs that was off duty returning from a meeting downtown, and he jumped in there and took command, and our battalion chief jumped in and helped, and we mitigated that incident. But as a result of the power lines falling down the road towards Aerojet property, at White Rock and Grant Line, there was a second column en route that popped up. That was, we deduced that it was most likely a result of the power lines being affected and some sort of fuse or something falling down the line into the grass down there as well. So we ended up having 2 incidents at the same time and we were very busy. Good news is we were able to mitigate sharing resources. Even our CAL FIRE partners came over, sent some resources to that second fire, which was in our jurisdiction. It was not SRA, and so we shared and got them out. The first fire with the rollover went to 51 acres. The second fire went to 10 acres, and so we were able to, utilizing actually air resources and our helicopter, and together we got those coordinated and put out. So, and as a result of the vehicle accident, sorry, that's probably important to know as well, no injuries as a result of that. We had some reports of some children involved, but bystanders were able to extricate them prior to our arrival, so that was good news. And then finally, on July 27th, it was a very busy day down at the Riverbend Park. We were initially dispatched for an adult male that was trapped by the raft up against the rocks. And then when we were there, as was the case of many, many people coming down the river on a very hot day, we ended up having a number of additional incidents. We probably ran 5 or 6 while we were there. And so based off of us being there, we did end up mitigating all of them. No injuries, only one transport that was unrelated to being in the water. So we had the transport from the land. But other than that, Copter 2 made contact and we were able to locate the initial reported missing rafter who was also fine. So unless there's any questions for the operations section, that's the end of my report.
Any questions for Chief Mitchell? All right, sir, thank you very much. All right, next on the agenda, we have Firefighters Local 522 report. Mr. Jamison, welcome to the podium.
Thank you, President Jones, directors, Chief Harms, and staff. You know, listening to that, again, I always hear how many calls they're running out there, and it hits home when you hear 15 calls a day on a medic. But I think one of the things that we can be proud of is from we had our labor management meeting, we did bring forward this, and it's funny sometimes when you have these conversations, they deviate and how to get more coverage, and then somebody has a light bulb go off and says we can do it, and next thing you know we have another medic in service. And I know there are members out there for this brief time where there's another 24-hour medic. Really appreciate it. That medic that's additional is very busy too. Again, I just, today we had our first ratification meeting for the contract, the proposal back from the district. It's humbling, and it's with great honor I represent my members here to you and present that to them. They have concerns. They got to voice their opinion today. We will know the outcome of the vote on the end of the day, Monday, the 12th. But so I will hopefully be able to get that to the district Monday, so you'll know. But again, it's a great honor and humility that I represent those members, and I think we'll always have things to talk about. And I do know, and I feel like the board is willing to listen, and I try to represent that to the members, and I hope that their message and how they feel about things is getting back to you. And I know some of you have gone to the stations and seen them at events, and so I appreciate the willingness to listen and at least explain what's going on. So thank you. Unless you have any questions for me.
Are there any questions? All right, thank you, sir. Appreciate
you.
it. All right. Next up, we have committee and delegate reports. There is no executive committee report. We have Communications Center, A.C. Wagaman.
Good evening, President Jones, directors, and Chief Harms. The dispatch board has not met since I last reported out. We are scheduled to meet again here in the Metro Board chambers on Thursday, August 15th at 1 o'clock. Thank you.
All right, sir, thank you very much. Next up, we have California Fire and Rescue Training, JPA, D.C. Shannon.
Good evening. Following Chief Wagaman's lead, we have not met also. We will meet next September 19th at 4 o'clock across the hall.
September 19th. All right, sir, thank you very much. We have no report from the Finance and Audit Committee. And is there a Policy Committee report? Director Gould.
Well, we have no report, and we have no future meetings. None.
Wow, we have,
We're never going to meet.
consistency is the name of the game tonight
Right.
here. All right. Thank you very much.
That's our policy.
That's our policy.
That's well said, well said. All right, we're going to move to board member questions and comments, and I'll start on my far right with with this item. Director Sailors.
Make sure I'm on the spot. Here we go. Oh, thank you. This last weekend, I attended FDAC's, that's Fire Districts of California, their Certificate of Achievement in Fire District Leadership Program. Thank you, Chief Castantini, for approving my going. Thank you, Board Clerk Melissa, and Chief Harms, in spirit, for allowing me to go to this. It was a wonderful class. I learned a lot over Saturday and Sunday. It was focused on California government codes, laws, and standards pertaining to fire districts, including a review of the Brown Act. All subjects were well presented and thoroughly explained. Now, I know a weekend learning about law doesn't sound like a lot of fun, but this was a classroom full of retired fire chiefs, which are now board members, and then current fire chiefs. And we were all there to learn about fire districts and the laws that pertain to fire districts. And sitting in a classroom of 23 other fire chiefs that are retired and fire chiefs that are current, they ended up doing little skits of the Brown Act. And it was very entertaining and actually a very good way to learn the do's and the don'ts for the Brown Act. And it hammered it home on, things that you can do and things you can't do. So it made it very entertaining, and it made it stick. So thank you very much for setting that up for me. It's a great learning experience. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Director Sailors. Director Gould.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to thank staff and the chief today for their professionalism at the 2x2 of one of our two contract cities. It's really nice to sit next to the general manager of that city and others and hear the nice things that are said about the overwhelmingly positive relationship that we have with that city. And so I was really proud to be there and just really gratified by just the comments that were being made by the leadership of that city. And so thank you again for all of your work and the hard work you do every day to make sure that we're meeting their needs as well. So thank you.
I wanted to reiterate the feelings about appreciating all the folks in Citrus Heights who took their time to be at the meeting today. It was very productive, and I really appreciate the collaborative spirit that they have. I also wanted to thank Lisa Barsdale, who has been working with an issue for one of the constituents regarding a gate and a road, and I got dizzy listening to the number of explanations for how the gate got there, and the gate got torn down, and somebody stole the gate, and Lisa went through, straightened this thing out. It's all going to work out fine, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Rosali. Director Wood?
Just want to say to Chief Mitchell, welcome. Look forward to working with you. Congratulations. Thank you.
Okay. Director Clark?
I have nothing to add, no comment tonight.
Okay, thank you, sir. Director Sheets?
I don't have any comment, thank you.
Comment, all right. I have one shout out, and that's to Boat Op 65. My friends and I were kayaking on the river on Monday, and it was nice to see a good fruition, good outcome of some discussions that Metro Fire initiated a few years ago about river compatibility. And that concerns the response of motorized vehicles, sheriff, rangers, and Metro Fire boat ops with paddlers, canoeists, and kayakers on the river. And I would like to commend the boat crew for two items that were right at the top of the list with some of the concerns. One was when you're going upstream, approaching San Juan Rapids, you pull to river right and you take a long look to make sure no one's coming down, that you have a free lane to practice your boat driver trainer operations. And we observed that, and it went very, very smoothly. The second one was when the boat was passing us, they lowered to under 5 miles an hour to lower the wake, a good 100 yards, if not more, before and after passing us. So I would like to commend the boat crew for maintaining our river compatibility guidelines. And thank you, Chief Green. Keep up the good work. With that, are there any other further comments for the good of the order? All right, meeting is now adjourned.
Okay, guys.